Chosen one, can you feel it? This Saturday will not be ordinary. It will not pass like any other day on the calendar, because heaven has already marked it as the moment of your divine ascension, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can interrupt it. That's why the pressure has been heavier lately. The strange fatigue, the sudden distractions, the voices trying to plant doubt in your heart. These are not random. They are reactions. Because when heaven releases something unstoppable, everything around tries to resist. But listen carefully. No resistance is strong enough to stop what has already been decreed. This Saturday, what was hidden will rise. What was delayed will move. And you, the chosen, will be lifted higher than you have ever been before. Your body will feel it. Your spirit will confirm it. Your life will testify that heaven's decree cannot be silenced, delayed, or interrupted. This is not just another weekend. This is the day when God proves to you and to everyone around you, the one I have chosen cannot be stopped. Prepare yourself, because this August 30th will be remembered as the day your ascension became inevitable. Chosen one, understand this clearly. There are days that cannot be lived as ordinary. This Saturday, August 30th, is one of those days. It has been set apart, written, and marked by heaven long before you ever walked this earth. It is not chance, not coincidence. It is decree, it is fulfillment, it is inevitable ascension. Think of how many times you asked yourself if you were truly on the right path. How many times the waiting made you doubt whether the promise would ever arrive. How many times you looked up at heaven and whispered, God, if you really chose me, just give me a sign. This Saturday is not just a sign, it is confirmation. It is heaven declaring nothing and no one can interrupt what has already been written over you. Divine Ascension is when God lifts you to a level that no human effort could ever achieve. It is when He places your life on a course that no enemy, no attack, no voice of doubt can derail. And that is exactly what is happening now. You will not only be reminded of the promise, you will be carried into it. This is not possibility. This is inevitability. Have you noticed how the pressure has increased these past days? A strange heaviness in your body, a sudden fatigue that comes out of nowhere, a restlessness in your spirit, moments where doubts crept in more aggressively than before. You might have thought, am I losing strength? Am I failing somehow? But no, chosen one. That was not weakness. It was resistance. And resistance is the clearest sign that your ascension has already been released. The greater the decree, the stronger the pushback. But here is the truth. Resistance cannot win against decree. Your life is not governed by the visible. It is governed by the invisible commands of heaven. And this Saturday is the moment those commands break through the unseen into your reality. No wall is high enough, no silence long enough, no opposition strong enough to stop what has already been put in motion. Think of your journey until now. Doors that closed before you could step through. People who walked away when you thought they would stay. Situations that seemed unfair and left you confused, but every one of those was preparation. Because your ascension could not be built on weak foundation. It had to be established on strength. And that strength was formed in you during the silence, during the waiting, during the struggle. Now, on that unshakable foundation, heaven lifts you. This Saturday will be unforgettable because you will not be the one striving to rise. The Spirit Himself will carry you, and when it is heaven that raises you, no human power can pull you down. When it is heaven that opens, no hand can close. When it is heaven that decrees, no force can interrupt. And so I must ask you, are you ready for a change that cannot be undone? Are you prepared to accept that your life is stepping into a level where there is no going back? Because that is what Divine Ascension truly means. A point of no return, a before and after that will never be erased. This Saturday, your body will feel it. Your spirit will testify. Even your mind will be surprised by the clarity that comes. Everything in you will align with what heaven has already declared. And whether people doubt, resist, or dismiss you, it will not matter. The decree has already left the mouth of God. This is the Saturday of inevitable ascension. This is the day you stop saying when and start saying now. This is the moment your story shifts direction and begins walking into fulfillment. Chosen one, do not treat this Saturday lightly. It is the answer to your prayers, the seal of your promise, the undeniable proof that heaven not only heard, but has already acted. Your ascension cannot be interrupted. And from this day forward, your life will forever be remembered as before and after August 30th. What tries to block your advancement? Chosen one, you must know this truth. Every divine ascension attracts resistance. The moment heaven decides to elevate you, forces begin to stir. Not because they have the power to stop you, but because they know they cannot control what has already been decreed. Look back over these last days. Haven't you noticed strange attacks, unexpected conflicts, people turning cold or even against you without reason, a heaviness on your body, sudden fatigue, unsettling dreams, trying to steal your peace? These are not coincidences. They are reactions. They are the disparate movements of opposition trying to block what is unstoppable. And here is the paradox. The closer you are to breakthrough, the stronger the resistance becomes. It is like the final pressure before birth. The contractions are most painful right before the new life emerges. The same is true in your spirit. The voices of doubt, the sudden discouragement, the distractions that rise exactly when you want to focus. All of these are evidence that you are closer than ever to elevation. Chosen one, the enemy does not waste energy on what is harmless. He only rises against those who carry a light strong enough to shift the atmosphere. And if your battles have intensified recently, it is because your life has already entered the orbit of ascension. Your presence disturbs the darkness. Your obedience is shaking the invisible. Your destiny is already in motion, and no amount of resistance can undo that. But resistance often disguises itself in subtle ways. It comes as anxiety at night, robbing your rest. It comes as criticism from those you trusted. It comes as temptation, pulling your focus away from God. It comes as a whisper in your own thoughts. Maybe nothing is really changing. Maybe you were wrong. But let me tell you, these whispers are not the truth. They are the last cries of resistance before heaven confirms the inevitable. Even your body may feel this battle. Sudden tension in your muscles, unexplainable tiredness, a sense of weight pressing down on you. Do not mistake this for failure. It is your flesh reacting to the unseen clash between what wants to hold you down and what heaven has already commanded to lift you up. Chosen one, let me ask you directly, will you allow these distractions to steal your focus? Will you give more attention to the noise of resistance than to the voice of God? Or will you recognize that every attack is a signpost proving you are already advancing. This Saturday, what tries to block you will lose its grip, not because the opposition gives up, but because heaven's decree overpowers it. No strategy can outlast God's command. No resistance can survive heaven's timing. So do not fear the battles. Do not be distracted by the voices. Do not let your heart tremble at the symptoms. They are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of fulfillment. The greater the resistance, the greater the proof that you are on the edge of ascension. What was meant to block you will instead confirm you. What was meant to delay you will propel you forward. What was meant to stop you will prove that nothing can interrupt the decree of God. Chosen one, lift your eyes beyond the resistance. See it for what it is, the shaking before the breakthrough, the noise before the silence breaks, the storm before the elevation. Because this Saturday, the attempts to block you will collapse, and you will rise untouched, undeniable, unshaken, living proof that no force can stop what heaven has set in motion. Chosen one, when heaven moves, it never happens without leaving traces. Before the miracle manifests in full, before your ascension becomes undeniable, God allows you to sense the first signs. They may seem small to the natural eye, but to the spirit, they are confirmations that the shift has already begun. Think carefully. Have you not noticed unusual sensations recently? Sudden chills running across your skin, a racing heartbeat for no reason, dreams so vivid that you wake up shaken, knowing they were more than imagination. Waking in the middle of the night with a heavy awareness that you are not alone. Moments of peace so deep they feel supernatural. These are not random, they are signals. Heaven is already moving inside you. When God begins a process of ascension, He does not leave you blind. He marks your mind, your emotions, your body. He gives you glimpses of His presence breaking through so you can walk with assurance. That is why, even when your mind struggles with doubt, your very body reacts as a witness. It is as if heaven is whispering, "I've already started, and nothing can stop what is unfolding." How many times have you asked for a sign? How many times have you prayed, "But God, just let me know you're still with me"? And suddenly a song spoke directly to your heart. A stranger said words you needed to hear. A verse you had read before suddenly carried new life. Or maybe a surge of emotion overtook you, bringing tears or relief. These were not coincidences. They were answers. They were the voice of heaven, breaking through the noise to remind you, "I am here, I have not forgotten, I have begun to move." These signs matter, because when you recognize them, your faith grows, your expectation rises, your heart aligns with the rhythm of heaven. And here is the secret. The more attentive you are, the more heaven reveals. Not because God needs to prove Himself, but because He wants you confident, awake, and ready. And if lately those signs have intensified, it is because your ascension is already in motion. Have you noticed your sensitivity increasing? The things which once didn't move you now touch your soul deeply. The time itself feels accelerated, as if everything is rushing forward. That is the flow of heaven, pulling you into alignment. That is the confirmation that your waiting season is ending. Chosen one, these signs are not illusions. They are the fingerprints of God on your daily life. They are reminders that your story is not stuck. It is unfolding. They are the first fruits of what will soon burst forth in fullness. So I ask you, will you dismiss these signs as coincidence? Or will you treasure them as sacred confirmations? Will you brush off the chills, the dreams, the sudden peace as just nothing? Or will you declare, this is heaven moving in me? Because this Saturday, those signs will not stay subtle. They will become louder, clearer, undeniable. Your body will testify. Your spirit will confirm. Your circumstances will shift. And the silence that once tormented you will finally be broken with proof that cannot be denied. The signs are not coming. The signs are already here. And they all point to one reality. Heaven is moving. And your ascension cannot be interrupted. Chosen one, there is a mystery in the ways of God that few are willing to embrace. Before every great elevation, there comes a season of silence. And this silence, which often felt unbearable to you, was never a punishment. It was a design. It was the divine strategy to shape you, prepare you, and strengthen you for what was to come. Think back to the nights you cried, whispering, Lord, why don't you answer me? Do you still remember me? You prayed, you fasted, you waited, and still nothing seemed to happen. The silence stretched on like an endless desert. But what you could not see was that in that very silence, heaven was at work. Your prayers were not ignored. They were watering the ground. Your tears were not wasted. They were laying foundations. Your waiting was not emptiness. It was construction. The silence of God is never empty. It is full of hidden activity. It is in the silence that He exposes false voices around you. It is in the silence that He reveals who truly stands with you and who does not. It is in the silence that your faith detaches from emotions and roots itself in conviction. Chosen one, if God had spoken too soon, you might not have been ready. If the promise had arrived before its time, it might have crushed you instead of lifting you. The silence was the womb where your ascension was being formed. It was the incubator of your next season. And though it felt like absence, it was divine preparation. How many times did you nearly give up in the waiting? How many times did you feel too weak to continue? And yet, here you are. You did not see it then, but the silence was building endurance in you. It deepened your prayers. It sharpened your discernment. It stripped away the shallow and anchored you in the eternal. And now, as this Saturday approaches, that silence gives way to voice. The stillness you thought would never end is breaking, and it is breaking with manifestation. Not just with words, but with undeniable signs in your body, in your spirit, in your very circumstances. This is not a theoretical end to silence. It is a tangible one. So let me ask you, can you see now that the silence was never abandonment? Can you understand that what felt like distance was really divine alignment? Can you recognize that God's quietness was not rejection, but protection, saving you for the exact moment when the fulfillment would be unstoppable? This Saturday is proof that silence is never the end of the story. It is the pause before the song resumes. It is the night before the sunrise. It is the waiting room before the door swings open. And now the silence has done its work. It has carried you to the threshold of ascension. And when heaven breaks silence, nothing remains the same. Chosen one, never again despise the seasons when God seems quiet. They are the seasons in which your spirit grows roots that storms cannot uproot. They are the seasons that prepare you to stand tall when the promise finally arrives. And now, the silence has ended. This Saturday will prove it, not with whispers, but with undeniable manifestation. The very silence that once weighed you down will soon be remembered as the womb of your miracle. Chosen one, when heaven decides to release your ascension, it is not enough that the decree has been spoken. It is not enough that the signs surround you or that your body already testifies. There is one more step. You must prepare yourself to receive without resistance. Many pray for miracles, but when the answer finally arrives, they almost miss it. Why? Because their hearts are too heavy with fear, their minds too crowded with doubt, their hands too full of what they should have already released. That is why this Saturday requires more than expectation. It requires alignment. To prepare is to empty yourself. It means laying down the fear that whispers, "What if it doesn't happen?" It means silencing the voice of doubt that says, "Maybe this isn't for me." It means shutting out the distractions that try to steal your attention just as heaven is about to speak loudly. Chosen one, perhaps what God is asking of you today is simple. Pause, breathe, and declare out loud, "I accept what heaven has decreed over me. I will not resist the new. I open myself fully to the ascension that cannot be interrupted." These words, spoken with faith, are not empty. They tear down invisible barriers. They shift the atmosphere around you. They bring your mind and spirit into agreement with what God has already released. But preparation is not only about letting go. It is also about lifting your expectation. How often have you prayed small prayers just to protect yourself from disappointment? How often have you asked for less than what you truly desired, afraid that God would not deliver? This Saturday, you must break that cycle. Do not expect crumbs when heaven has prepared a feast. Do not anticipate fragments when God is offering fullness. Your ascension is not something minor. It is visible, undeniable, and meant to impact more than just you. And here is the key. A prepared heart does not argue with God's timing. It does not complain, "Why did it take so long?" Instead, it says, "Thank you, Lord, for making it happen in the perfect moment." Because the same God who seems silent is the one who ensured you would not be elevated before you were ready to stand strong. So I must ask you, are you prepared not only to receive but to sustain? Are you ready to stop controlling the process and allow God to fully take over? Are you willing to step into a blessing so great it will overwhelm your logic and surpass your plans? This Saturday, the key will not be effort, but openness. It will not be striving, but surrender. It will not be about chasing, but about receiving. Because the ascension is already decreed, the only thing that can limit your experience of it is resistance in your own heart. Chosen one, let that resistance fall. Release the fear, the doubt, the hesitation. Declare with faith that you are ready. Because this Saturday is not just another step. It is a leap into a destiny that cannot be interrupted. Chosen one, there are days that divide your story in two, before and after. Days that cannot be mistaken for ordinary, because they carry the seal of heaven. This Saturday, August 30th, is one of those days. After it, nothing in your life will remain the same. Until now, you have lived in the tension of waiting. You have walked holding on to invisible promises. You endured nights of silence, seasons of tears, and moments where hope felt thin. That was the before. The before was full of questions, delays, and prayers that seemed unanswered. But this Saturday, the after begins. And the after will not be filled with uncertainty. It will be filled with evidence. Evidence that heaven has spoken. Evidence that the silence is broken. Evidence that the promise is not distant, but manifesting right in front of you. After this Saturday, you will no longer describe yourself as someone waiting. You will describe yourself as someone carrying proof, carrying testimony, carrying a new level of authority. Your spirit will know it. Your body will feel it. And your circumstances will start to align with it. Chosen one, when God breaks his silence, he does not leave your life untouched. Everything shifts. Relationships are redefined. Doors long closed begin to creak open. Weights you carried for years suddenly fall away. The atmosphere around you lightens, and you walk differently because you are no longer bound by the same chains. How many times did you cry out, "Lord, give me a moment I can look back on," and say, "That was the day everything changed"? This is that moment. This Saturday will be the reference point you return to whenever doubt tries to rise again. You will remember, that was the day heaven lifted me. That was the day the silence ended. That was the day my story turned. And I must ask you, are you willing to leave the before behind? Are you ready to step fully into the after without hesitation? Because God will not elevate you only for you to live as if nothing has shifted. This is permanent. This is irreversible. This is destiny. After this Saturday, your story will have two chapters: before the ascension and after it, before the silence and after the voice, before the promise in the distance and after its manifestation in your life. Chosen one, do not treat this as ordinary. Do not downplay what heaven is declaring. This Saturday is the hinge on which your destiny swings open. It is the day you will say for the rest of your life, "Here everything changed. Here the miracle became undeniable. Here the promise came alive in me." And from that moment on, nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever be the same. Chosen one, this is the deepest truth of all. This Saturday, August 30th, will not only be remembered as the day God spoke louder than the silent. It will be remembered as the day you yourself became the living proof of his decree. Divine Ascension is not just a message. It is not just a word to inspire you. It is the undeniable reality of heaven made visible in your life. And when heaven chooses someone to carry proof, there is no power on earth or in the spirit that can undo it. You are not just receiving a promise, you are becoming the evidence of it. Think about this. For so long, you prayed for signs. You asked for confirmation, for proof, for something to hold on to in the waiting. And now, heaven has decided to make you the sign. Your body, your atmosphere, your very existence will testify. God has moved, God has lifted, God has fulfilled. That means you can no longer see yourself as ordinary. You are a chosen vessel. Your story is a letter written by heaven for others to read. Your life itself becomes prophecy. Even those who doubted, even those who mocked or resisted, will have to admit something undeniable has happened. Heaven has touched this life. Chosen one, your tears were not wasted. Your waiting was not empty. Your silence was not abandonment. It was all preparation for this, to be elevated as proof that God never lies. And now the fulfillment is not somewhere far away. It is upon you. It is in you. It is you. Let me ask you now, will you accept this identity? Will you declare with boldness that you are the living sign of heaven's decree? Or will you try to shrink back, pretending this is just coincidence? Do not hide. Do not minimize. Do not run. Rise into it. Own it. Stand and declare, I am living proof of divine ascension. My life is the testimony that God speaks and fulfills. Because from this day forward, you will never again need to wonder if God still hears you. Every breath you take, every step you walk, every shift in your story will echo one unshakable truth. Heaven has spoken, and you are the evidence. This August 30th is not just a date, it is a seal. It is the moment your story was rewritten. It is the day the silence ended forever. And when doubt tries to return, you will not only remember, you will look at yourself and know, I felt it, I lived it, I was marked, I am the proof. Chosen one, your divine ascension cannot be interrupted, and the greatest testimony of that is you.